Welcome back to my little channel. Today's video is trying to make clear a point. I'm in a discussion with someone and the idea has come up that I'm against immigration. And I have to clarify this point. It is not that I'm against immigration. I'm against indiscriminate immigration. The problem with immigration as such at this point is that the Western world lets in everyone because of reasons. Whatever those reasons may be, the weird part is that some of the people that are being let in are not going to contribute to our society. And if they're not going to contribute to our society, they're going to be a net cost to our society. So I advocated, and I still advocate, to only let in people who are culturally, adaptable, compatible with the Western world. Because if we do not, we end up paying for both our society, which has a dwindling number apparently, and the refugees that don't come in to adapt. Which basically means that instead of getting immigrants to help our economy, we're getting immigrants to destroy our economy faster. Which is a problem to me. Now, is this correct when I'm saying this? All I have to say is look at Sweden. During the civil war in Yugoslavia, they let in a lot of refugees. Now, there were initial problems, but most of the refugees that stayed in Sweden became contributing citizens. I'm not going to say that the crime rates didn't increase or whatnot, but they didn't increase exponentially and it settled itself and people became citizens of Sweden. But if we look at the current immigration wave, or refugee wave if you want to call it that, we see a completely different outcome. We see that 90% of the refugees are absolutely not interested in integrating. And they are interested in relying on the welfare state to give them a good life. This is a problem. Now, does this then mean that we shouldn't allow any refugee in? No, well, it depends on how you look at it. We shouldn't let them in at any cost. Look at Poland. Poland is allowing in refugees. They're just not allowing in Muslim refugees. They are allowing in refugees from Ukraine. Are these creating problems? Well, maybe, but in nowhere near to the problems England, the UK, Germany and France are having with their refugees. And if we're going to let in immigrants, why not let in immigrants that will actually help our society? Now, this is also negative towards the country where they come from, because let's be honest, you're creating a brain drain in the countries that are developing. But I'd rather take in the refugees that can participate in our society than take in the refugees that their society doesn't even want anymore. So the good riddance effect is a problem. This is what Donald Trump meant, I assume, when he said when Mexican sends their illegal immigrants, they don't send their best. Which, unfortunately, is true. Not that Mexico doesn't send their best, I think he's an idiot for saying that, but the fact is that illegal immigrants and refugees tend not to be the best and the brightest of a society. But if we give an incentive for people to come, let that incentive then be for people to come and stay and participate in our society. And if they don't want to participate in our society, then don't let them come. We're only buying problems with money we need to solve our own problems. Does this seem harsh? Well, maybe. But my problem isn't people from different countries. My problem is people from incompatible cultures. I have, of course, an example on how we can do this right and how this is then being represented as a bad thing. If we look at Nigerian refugees in America or in the UK, they tend to be highly educated. They tend to have at least 40% of them roughly has a bachelor degree or higher. And I say 40, but it's probably even higher than 40. And I will link, of course, down below some web thingies where people talk about this. But the most funny thing is that even though the Nigerians in America, and not just in America, have high education, of course they're going to make it sound like this is a bad thing. Who is going to make it sound like this is a bad thing? Well, that's the funny part. It's not the people on the right. It's not the people who are, quote unquote, against immigration. Personally, I think the Nigerians are, in a certain way, a success story. Well, they still hold their own culture when they come into the country. Yes, but they aren't detracting of the culture they're coming into. They hold their own culture, but they participate in ours. They are therefore part of Western culture. I don't mind that you have your own culture as well, but they have to be compatible. And if we look at Nigerians, on average, they try to have a strong nuclear family, because this is important. They try to go into higher education, because this is important. Unfortunately, this is a brain drain on Nigeria, but then again, the country has been in a mess for a while. It's not really fair, because they are building up their mess. Kudos for Nigeria, considering where they were 20 years ago. But a lot of Nigerian refugees came to the Western world because they didn't feel safe in their own country. But when they came here, they did not import the problems of those countries. They came here to become active members of our society. And then people say, yeah, but they only went to school because if they went to school, they wouldn't be kicked out of the country. As long as they went to school, they wouldn't be kicked out of the country. You know what? Maybe that's true. But still, they went to school and they got bachelor degrees or higher, doctors even. Right? And with those degrees, they come back into our society, in our community, and started working. So they contribute to our society. Yeah, but there are Nigerian criminals as well. I'm not saying there aren't. There are criminals everywhere. But at this very point in time in America, on average, a Nigerian is higher educated and earns more than a white American. Hell, they out-earn Asians, which are known to be hard workers. But yeah, there are Asian criminals as well. There are white criminals as well. We're not going to stop criminality. The point is, we take in people who want to work here. We do not take in people that depend on our handouts to survive. Because if we're going to do that, unfortunately, it's not only going to destroy their society, it's going to destroy ours as well. Now, Nigerians in America, for example, there have been talks about going back to Nigeria. Now, a lot of Nigerians seem to be reluctant to go back because of the history of Nigeria. I mean, yes, Nigeria is working hard to become a stable economy in the world, but people, they still remember how it was not that long ago. So they don't really want to leave the safety of the West. And personally, I understand that. But as soon as Nigeria becomes a more stable country, I am assuming that some people will go back. Because there is nothing wrong with coming here, learning whatever it is you're learning, contribute here for a time, and then go back to contribute there. You don't have to go back as long as you're contributing, though. I don't care about skin color. I don't care about ethnicity. I care about culture. If you come here to suck on the teeth of welfare, I have a problem with you. To me, I've always had this very simple rule. I don't care where you come from, but when you come into my country, there are 3 things I want you to do, and this holds true for everyone. I don't care about your culture. I don't care, well, I do care about your culture. I don't care about your ethnicity. I don't care about your religion. When you come and live in my country, I want you to be able to speak the language. You don't have to be Shakespeare, but you have to be able to communicate with people. I want you to uphold every and all laws of this country. even if they coincide with your religious beliefs. I don't care about your religious beliefs. In this country, the rule of law is the predominant leader. And you have to be able to hold up your own. So you have to be able to earn your own stay. If you can do those three things, I don't care where you come from. You are welcome. This is the thing about Western culture. Western culture is inclusive. If you can hold up your own, if you can abide all the laws, and if you speak the language, you are welcome. You are part of our economy and you're part of our society. Because I can talk to you, you work with me, and you're not a criminal, just like I am not a criminal. Yeah, but there will always be criminals. Yes, there will be. So should we import even more? Or should we try to import the people that are not criminals and applaud them for being participators in our society? Personally, I would go for the latter one. So, just to make sure, am I against any ethnicity? No. Am I for discrimination? No. Am I for indiscriminate immigration? Hell no. Because this is a problem. And the worst part is, who are we helping with this? Yeah, but our society is dwindling in numbers and we need people to work for us. Yeah, that's what the left keeps saying. But we also know that this is not true. And even if it were true, explain to me how it's helpful that we get in people who are dependent on our welfare state to help our welfare state survive. Because they're not helping our welfare state survive, they're making it destroy itself faster. Maybe I'm also a little bit against the welfare state. Maybe that's it. I don't know. Anyway, so far my rant. I will have links down below about the Nigerian success stories in the USA. And funny enough, I've been looking to get a good, clear piece on second generation Nigerians. Because on average, second generation Nigerians do it better than first generation Nigerians. Which is funny considering certain immigrants, second generation, are worse off than the original ones. That's weird, really. And I was hoping to give you the clear numbers on refugees in Sweden, or who are working and who are not working. The last story I heard, but I can't really find fair confirmation, is that out of the 160,000 refugee immigrants in Sweden, only about 500 work. I'm not sure how that's going to compensate for the over 100,000 that do not. This is the problem. Should we allow everyone in? No. Anyway, I'm repeating myself. Like, share and subscribe if you feel so inclined. Feel free to give me your criticism. I look forward to it. And this is a discussion we need to be having. It's not that I'm right because I say so. If you have good arguments, please come with those good arguments. I am absolutely not against helping people. I am, however, against helping people at all costs. See you all next time.